Nice to have you join us. You're welcome to the News on the Hour, brought to you from the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. I am Zubechi Frank. You're welcome. Finally, President Muhammad Buhari has signed the 2018 9.12 trillion naira appropriation bill into law in the absence of the Senate President Bukola Saraki and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara. The budget was assented to by the President at the mini conference room of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Buhari, while signing the budget, said he was compelled to sign the budget not to keep the economy continuously on standstill. He berated the National Assembly for cutting the budget estimates, especially in the key sectors, which he said would have impacted more on the economy. He also indicated the interest to forward supplementary budgets to the National Assembly to make up the figures that were cut by the lawmakers. It will be recalled that the National Assembly passed the budget on May 16th, over 7 months after the President submitted the proposal to the lawmakers. President of the Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, has addressed the upper chamber of the Russian Parliament, known as the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation in Moscow. In the address, which was historic, being the first head of the Nigerian legislature to perform such a function in Russia, Saraki called for a stronger security, economic and cultural cooperation between Nigeria and Russia. The President of the Senate appreciated the chairperson of the Federation Council, Mrs. Valentina Matvienko, for the invitation to visit the Russian Parliament and expressed confidence that the event would mark a new phase of interparliamentary cooperation between the two nations, as well as the springboard for renewed vigor in Nigeria-Russia relations in general. He insisted that since aid alone cannot mitigate the inherent socio-economic challenges confronting the country, it is imperative for both countries to engage in partnerships that would open the door to new investments and other opportunities. The Senate President called on the Russian government to reckon with Nigerians as a central area of focus in Africa by taking a more serious view of its long-standing ties with the country. He said that Nigeria and Russia need to collaborate more to develop common strategies for tackling the problem of terrorism and human trafficking as their contribution to sustainable peace in the larger world. Nigerians have reacted to the plan by the federal government to disburse $322 billion fund repatriated from the account of former head of state, late General Sani Abacha, in Switzerland to Nigerians. It will be recalled that the National Coordinator of the Open Government Partnership, Nigeria, and Special Assistant to the President on Justice Reforms, Juliet Ibekako-Nwagu, disclosed this in a chat with journalists. Said under Memorandum of Understanding with Switzerland, the money would be paid directly into the accounts of the poorest Nigerians through their various accounts for 2 years. However, Nigerians on social media have questioned how the government will identify poor Nigerians. They accuse the government of using these as a way to reloot the funds, while urging the government to divert the funds to develop power sector, fuel and solve other challenges in the country. Some Lagosians have called on the governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, to provide solution to the debilitating state of Ojuelegba Bridge. This follows the accident recorded on Tuesday evening, which led to the death of some persons. It was reported that a truck carrying plywood fell on 3 commercial buses and a private car under the bridge. Reacting to the latest incident, Lagosians on social media called on the government to reconstruct the bridge, noting that such accidents have been recorded in the past. According to them, more accidents are bound to happen if nothing is done about the bridge and trucks that ply that axis. The Christian Association of Nigeria (ACNN) has asked the federal government to caution the Adamawa state government against the hasty implementation of the death sentence handed to 5 Christian youths for allegedly killing a Fulani herdsman. Justice Abdulaziz Waziri of the State's High Court recently sentenced Alex Amos Alehiri Funel, Holy Boniface, Jerry Gideon and Jerry Sabagi to death for culpable homicide. The youths on June 1, 2017 allegedly attacked 3 herdsmen, killed one of them at Damu Buba, threw his corpse into a river and maimed several cows. CAN President Reverend Samson Ayokunle noted that while the umbrella Christian body does not support jungle justice or criminality, it regrets how hundreds of its members in South Kaduna, Benue, Taraba, Plateau, Enugu states and others have been killed and are being killed daily by yet to be apprehended criminals parading as Fulani herdsmen. According to Reverend Samson, the body is shocked at the speed of light deployed by security and judicial officers in sentencing the alleged killers, and added that the association has asked its legal team to study the text of the judgment with a view to preventing a miscarriage of justice and a future reoccurrence. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria (PFN) has also urged governments to tread cautiously on the matter. An Akure Magistrate Court has revoked the bail granted Ajayi Bayode, a suspected killer of a Fulani herdsman. The presiding judge, Mrs. Victoria Bob Manuel, had last Thursday granted the accused person bail on health grounds. Bayode was accused of killing one of the Fulani herdsmen who invaded his farmland in Arigidi, Akoko Northwest local government area of Ondo State. The suspect was arraigned last week on a 1-count charge of murder contrary to Section 319, subsection 1 of the Criminal Code, Cap 37, Volume 1 of the law of the state. Though the court granted Bayode bail to enable him access medical attention in order to stand trial. However, the state government, through the Office of Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, asked the court to revoke the bail earlier granted to the suspect. The judge, however, said the accused should be transferred to the hospital so that he could receive medical attention, and asked the counsel to the accused person to seek bail for his client at the High Court since her court lacked the jurisdiction to hear the case. The Nigerian government and some states in the country have agreed to set up cattle ranches. These will take effect in Adamawa, Benue, Ebonyi, Edo, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Oyo, Plateau, Taraba, Zamfara, Kaduna, among others. The ranches are aimed at bringing an end to the crisis between herdsmen and farmers in the affected states. The agreement was reached in Abuja at the unveiling of the National Economic Council's National Livestock Transformation on plans as part of efforts to end clashes between farmers and herdsmen. Prince Tony Momoh, a national leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) and former Minister of Information, has justified the refusal of President Muhammadu Buhari to meet with the aggrieved People's Democratic Party (PDP) bloc, otherwise known as the new PDP, in the party. With the national convention of the party just 4 days away, there has been fears that the NPDP members might either boycott the event or stage a walkout, just as its key members did at the convention of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) 5 years ago. Some of the NPDP members have faulted the refusal of the president to meet with them, saying it doesn't speak well of his position as the party's national leader. However, Momoh told newsmen in Abuja that President Buhari did not snub the NPDP members, but only insisted that they channel their complaints to the existing structure in the party, led by the national chairman, Chief John Odige Oyegon. More stories coming to you after this break. Please stay with us.
It is a known fact that today most persons, both Anglicans and non-Anglicans alike, no longer understand, value or cherish the religious principles promulgated by the Anglican Church. Welcome to the Anglican Ambassador. This program is put together by the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN, to cover such errors. The Anglican Ambassador will be a weekly 30 minutes discussion program that will be graced by well-grounded theologians. I am Blessing Ekpenisi, your host.
Thanks for joining us. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, please download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to foreign news. The U.S. has withdrawn from the United Nations Human Rights Council, accusing it of a chronic bias against Israel. U.S. envoy to the UN, Nikki Haley, who announced her country's decision in Washington, slammed Russia, China, Cuba, and Egypt for thwarting U.S. efforts to reform the council. She also criticized countries which shared U.S. values and encouraged Washington to remain, but were unwilling to seriously challenge the status quo. The U.S. is halfway through a 3-year term on the main UN rights body, and the Trump administration had long threatened to quit if the 47-member Geneva-based body was not overhauled. Haley also said that this proportionate focus on ending hostility towards Israel is clear proof that the council was motivated by political bias, not by human rights. Washington's withdrawal is the latest U.S. rejection of multilateral engagement after it pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement and the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. The Anglican faithful have been urged not to walk away from dialogue with the liberal wing of the church, but to engage in good disagreement with their separated brethren. These were the words of the Anglican Archbishop of the Episcopal Church in Jerusalem and the Middle East, the Most Reverend Suhail Dawani, as he greeted the 2,000 delegates to GAFCON 3 meeting at St. George's Anglican Cathedral in Jerusalem. In his address, Archbishop Dawani pressed the need for the Anglican Church to be a catalyst for reconciliation within the Christian community and the wider world. He stated that the mission of the Anglican Church in Israel and Palestine was to be a bridge builder, a pivot in relations between the other religions. Since his consecration in 2007, Archbishop Dawani said he had pursued a ministry of reconciliation in the pursuit of peace. The city of Jerusalem, he added, was the key to peace in the region and in the world. The Deputy Chairman of GAFCON, Primate of the Anglican Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Stanley Ntagali, has said that the Anglican Church of Uganda has disassociated itself from the Church of England, headed by the Canterbury. He made this announcement on the day 2 of the ongoing Global Anglican Future Conference holding in Jerusalem. Archbishop Tagali, who is also the Bishop of Kampala in Uganda, disclosed that the House of Bishops in Ugandan Church during their General Synod agreed that unless the issues that are ongoing in the Anglican Church is resolved, they will no longer be part of any meeting invited by the Canterbury.
By God's grace, the bishops of the Church of Uganda are here, who are members of the House and their wives, and delegates from Uganda, who happen also to be, some of them, members of the Provincial Assembly, which some of you call Provincial Synod. But let me give you a background of what I'm going to say. Immediately take consecrated and openly confessing gay person to be a bishop. The House of Bishops cut communion with Taken Canada and all the provinces or dioceses that would follow suit. So that remained our position, and later things never got better. Instead, they got worse. And in 2010, the Provincial Assembly gave a moratorium that unless things change and godly order is returned to the Anglican Communion, we shall not attend any meetings by Canterbury. And that still remains the same. So what we resolved on the 30th of May recently as House of Bishops was not new at all. We were affirming what we decided almost 15 years ago. So these are part of the resolutions. We have the Provincial Synod or Assembly in August, and we shall present this for ratification, but we resolved the following. As House of Bishops, we resolved, because things have not changed, we are not attending Lambeth 2020. We also resolved that unless godly order is restored in the Anglican Communion, we shall not attend other meetings invited by Canterbury. Thirdly, we resolved that unless the Anglican Church in North America, Acnn, is invited, because we are great partners, they are members of GAFCON, and GAFCON gave birth to Acnn. Unless Acnn is invited, and Brazil, the new province of Brazil, we shall not attend any meetings invited by Canterbury. Thank you.
So that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. We want to thank you for watching. I am Zubechi Frank.